you feeling?
I'm feeling great. Thank you for asking.
Is just what's the process been like for you? Just trying to get back on the court and put yourself in a position to join your team on the court.
It's been frustrating. Not gonna lie to you. It's been very frustrating. Not being able to play sucks, but I mean things gotten better. Things gotten a lot better.
So how much does it help having gone through this last year? Does that help you mentally as far as just being able to?
Uh, yeah. Because I went through it last year, definitely made my mental a lot stronger. So this year it's a little easier.
How close are you to feeling like you'll be ready to play?
I mean physically I'm fine. Now it's just a matter of like when I feel like Zion. I know the atmosphere I'd be entering based off like the playoff experience. So now it's just a matter of when I feel like Zion.
How frustrating was the setback?
Yo, welcome back to the Triple Crown Pod. Man, y'all just seen an interview with Zion Williamson talking about his injury recovery and everything like that. Not gonna hold you, I got my side things about this injury and how long it's taking him to come back from it. But I'm gonna go ahead and let my man Rush take the floor on this and let him speak on it first.
Yeah, man. I mean, you just heard it, in the interview, right? The big thing that pointed out to me was him saying, physically I'm fine. It's just a matter of when I start feeling like Zion again. And the Pelicans are just in the play-in. They lost, obviously, to a close game to OKC, who's a really good young team. But the big thing is physically I feel fine, right? And then
Hmm.
he follows it up. It's just a matter of when I feel like Zion. So this guy has missed a lot of games, right? His last game I think it was played in January 2nd around that time frame. And it was a hamstring injury, right? And to be out for that long with a hamstring is like really long time. Most people would say a hamstring take about 4 to 6 weeks to heal from, depending on how bad it is. So, his availability has been a huge question, bro. A huge question. But when he's on the floor, he's productive.
Yeah, he is 100%. Over his course of I think what this is his third or fourth year in the league now. Only played in 114 games out of 287. And honestly, man, in my honest opinion, I just feel like he's taking the road of Kawhi Leonard. If y'all don't know who Kawhi Leonard is, he's the starter now on LA Clippers. But when he was with the San Antonio Spurs, he was out with a quad injury basically the whole entire year, and then basically he got traded away to Toronto Raptors, won a chip, blase blase. The rest is history. But I just feel like Zion, man, he's just not that guy. I just feel like he's the modern day Sean Kemp after the lockout season when he just grew all he gained all that weight and everything like that. I feel like Zion is not that guy, man. I just feel like he's not it, man. Like these were concerns coming out of Duke, and now as you see it, it's just injury after injury after injury. And it's just like at one point, y'all was comparing him to LeBron James, the next coming. But where is he coming? Where is he going? Just staying on the bench. I just
Yeah.
I,
I will say I won't compare him to Kawhi because I think Kawhi's situation was different. Kawhi spent years in the league being consistent and actually being in the lineup before he had that quad injury. And I'm pretty sure that was a contract year for Kawhi as well. Um, that occurred in. So I won't quite compare him to the Kawhi situation, and I won't say Zion's not the guy either. It was 2 years, two
yeah,
years.
2 years
So
because he that year it happened, and then the next year he was traded to Toronto. Then that's when he went to free agency after that. But yeah.
right. Okay, so yeah, I still wouldn't compare him to that because Kawhi had a track record before being consistent, but Zion, I won't say Zion's not that guy either. I just think that he needs to really get his health together, man. Because when he's on the court, the reason why I say I won't dispel that he's not that guy, right? When he's on the court, he's effective. I mean, last year he played 61 games, right? Now out of 82, that's not the greatest, but he averaged 27, right? And
Well, that I don't think that was last year. I think that was like 2 years ago.
Yeah, it was 22 years ago because
Yeah,
last year he didn't play because of his foot. So 2 years ago,
exactly.
he was an all-star. He was an all-star. He averaged 27. So when he's on the court, he can play. He does well. And this year, when the Pelicans had him on the floor at the beginning of the year, they made it as high as a 1 seed, right? So clearly he's effective when he's in the lineup, but he's just not staying in the lineup consistently, excuse me. And I think the biggest piece of this, right? So, and during the wrap up interview for the team, CJ McCollum released a quote, right? He said something. And this was huge because it lets me kind of know like the frustration is starting to build with Zion a little bit, right? So he says, we've got to be available. We've got to do what we need to do off the court in terms of preparation, in terms of getting treatment, in terms of getting the right sleep, the right hydration, and having the right type of diet. And CJ McCollum said that. And that to me spoke tremendous movement, right? Because you got one of your best players saying that. And they're clearly talking about one individual, right? He's not
It's
talking about
Zion.
Jonas Valanciunas. He's
Nope.
not talking about himself. He's not Brandon Ingram was hurt a lot this year, but Brandon Ingram came to play as well. He had a more legitimate injury and, his rehab time wasn't as long. And then the big piece with this is diet. And we all know Zion's been overweight. He actually has a clause in his contract that he has to stay under 295, right? So he ain't talking about everybody else on that roster.
Nah, he's not.
He ain't talking about Josh Richardson. He's talking about Zion.
Nah.
So I think the frustration is slowly building in the organization with Zion's health and his overall availability.
Yeah, I mean, like, look, the best trait out there for any athlete is availability. If you don't have availability, it's no point for you. Even it doesn't matter how big you are as an athlete. If you can't stay on the court, you're just going to diminish as an athlete. But to the point where I was trying to say, like, he's not that guy. Yeah, you're right. On the court, he's phenomenal. Easily a double double, easily. But like I said, your best trait is availability, man. You got to be able to stay on the court, and
Yeah.
he's just not that guy, yeah. And we all knew this coming out of the league, like, but people still put Zion on a pedestal. Zion this, Zion that. That's why it was so many games of the Pelicans on national television because of him. But he wasn't even playing. Like, come on, man. You got to do better, bro. You you could be the face of the league, but now. But honestly, let me just say this: I just feel like it's a bigger conversation. I just don't. I feel like he just doesn't want to be with the Pelicans. I feel like he wants to go somewhere else. That's what my honest opinion is. Like, of course, it's been like dated for the past couple years. Of is he sitting out for his contract to run out? Yes, he did sign that extension last year, making over 30 million plus every year going forward till 2027. But I just feel like he's trying to get traded. Low key, probably to the Knicks, to RJ. That's the common one, but I just don't feel like the Pelicans is his number one city he want to be in.
Yeah, and that can be true. But I still don't think that's the way to do it, right? And then that contract is gonna make it a lot harder to move him anyway. So even if
Nah,
yeah,
why you say that?
you got because you gotta that contract, you gotta match up players with that. That's like the whole if somebody sees that a player is always injured, right? They
Hmm.
not gonna be willing to give up as many assets and good players to get back a player that's been injured a lot. So if I'm the Knicks, if that's where he wants to go, I'm like, all right, cool. Zion is when he's on the court, he's great, right? But he's not on the court often. So I'm not gonna give up some of my best players and assets for a player who we may not know what their availability is. So when someone is making $33 million a year, you have to find players that can match that to make the trade legal. So
That's
you're
very
not over
true.
the cap space.
That's very true. But to that point, this new CBA that's coming out, 65 games is basically the plateau of NBA players, what you need to play as a minimum. So to that point, you could seems like you might keep playing 50 games, so you still might be deemed as a star, deemed as a superstar in this league if you play 50 games. So And what I mean by that, so if you play 65 games under the new CBA going forward, you could be up for awards and things like that. So that's the minimum that you have to play. So what his highest season, like you just said, 2 years ago, he played in 61, 4 games away. Okay, that's fine. But going forward, if I play in 50 games, he played in what 29 games this season. So tack on another 20 games, he'd be still deemed as that guy. And in this age of the NBA, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, like low key, how many games you play. Like I feel like if you start the season, and then if you can end the season going into the playoffs, and your team is in the right position to be in the playoffs, people still look at you like, oh yeah, let's go, let's get it, like Anthony Davis. So I just feel like that for me that doesn't matter, yo. You could get traded to any market and they'll still view you as that guy. Even look at personally, like I said, even Kawhi Leonard nowadays. I feel like he's not that guy. He's still an assassin on the court, but think about how many games he's been playing over the past few years.
I
ACL
still
injuries.
for
Um,
sure. But I still think Kawhi is different though, because he's proven it.
yes,
He's
he's
proven
proven
when he's
it.
healthy. He's proven when he's healthy, he can play, right?
Yeah,
I think that's different. And it's proven that he's won at the highest level when he is playing,
hundred
right?
percent, hundred
With
percent.
Zion, it's still some jewelry. I mean, he puts up good numbers, but it's still jewelry out on what he can do on the floor and how far he can take an organization, right? I mean, Kawhi in 1 year took Toronto to the finals, beat Embiid and Giannis and Steph Curry in the same year. You know what I'm saying? Like it's different. It's
Man, that
different, right?
That go to state one was a little fishy, but that's another topic
Well,
for
I
another
mean,
day.
KD tore his Achilles, but
Yeah,
it's still different. He still
and
had to
Clay.
win that game. You know what I'm saying? He still had to win that game. So, at the end of the day, it's gonna say Toronto Raptors NBA champs
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, that's a different discussion for
for
another
sure,
day.
for sure,
But the man Zion, like, I mean, I wish him the best though. Like, I don't wish failure on no one, bro. All right, that's just one thing I don't want. I want to let that known. But like, gotta stay healthy, bro. And what CJ McCollum saying, bro, he gotta stay. He gotta change up his mindset, bro. This is your 4th year in the league. You're about to enter your next tier contract after this season. People are gonna be looking at you as that guy. So like, you gotta change something, man. Like something gotta change within your mindset. And I hope it does, man. But I wish him the best though. I'm definitely not wishing for failure, but what he's given us to speak on and the evidence we have that to back it up with, it's kind of proofing to put it in a little bit. So, man, like I said, I hope for the best. I hope he can play at least 50 games next season. But
for
because when
sure,
he's out there, he's a dog. Like he is that guy. But we'll see. We'll see next year. You know.
for sure, for sure. Yeah, I think not only his health, man, but I mean just the overall league in general. I mean, we got a couple of players that's out with injuries, good players. So yeah, you always want to see the best players playing. You know, that's how you know. Like you just spoke to the finals where you had two people getting injured that were really focal point players for Golden State. And we don't know what could happen when injuries occur. So you always want to see the best players on the floor. Um, so yeah, what's up?
I mean, so this is a side question to all this, but it pertains to injuries. Do you feel like a lot of like American basketball players get injured more than European players? Do you feel like that's the case?
I don't follow European players enough to know
Jokic,
what the injury.
Giannis, like those heavy stars that's out there that are Europe, Luca. I mean, Luca, he be have his things, but like his dings, but it's not like significant injuries compared to like American stars. You could name a whole list of them, like that consistently get injured year after year after year. Do you think that's like a situation that we might need to talk about?
Not really,
Okay,
not
okay,
really. I
okay,
think the players that get injured are players that are consistently staying injured, like Paul George, Kawhi, Zion. Those type of players. But Luca gets injured, like you said. It's and European players get injured too. Ricky Rubio has been out for a while. Kristaps Porzingis has been injured a lot. So I,
okay.
I think it's I think it's about even. I mean, there's obviously more American players than European or overseas players in general, but I think it's about even though.
Like I would pertaining to like significant injuries, not like yeah, hamstring shouldn't take you that long, but depending on the player. and your diet, it might take a little bit longer. But like significant injuries, ACLs, things like that. But
No, I
but,
think it's
but
about even. I think
okay.
it's about even. But yeah, this is a Triple Crown podcast, man. I hope you guys enjoyed this little uh brief discussion on Zion. We definitely want to see him do well. Like we said, we want to see him on the court. We want to see all good players on the court, man. But yeah, this is the Triple Crown podcast, and we are